Hello, everybody, and welcome to Empire of the Full Moon, Episode 9. I'm Mike Cadaver. Today we're going to be talking about Ghoulies II from 1987, so let's get into some background of this movie real quick. First of all, 1987, obviously this was put out by Empire International Pictures, but the problem is this is 1987 and thereabouts is kind of when the money started to run out. So Ghoulies, the original Ghoulies from 1985 was great. It was a huge hit for Empire. It did really great even in the theaters. So they were doing great. Charles Band, if you like, and I always mention this book, Confessions of a Puppet Master. If you check that out, you'll get the ins and outs and all the details about the history of what's going on at this time in Empire Pictures. But so 85, huge success with Ghoulies. 87, this when it starts to go downhill, and the debtor, credit Leonidas, and is starting to come knocking at the door because the past couple of years, Charles Band bought their the Castello dei Giove, which is just basically the castle that we've talked about many times on this show. And this is they'd also purchased what's it called? Dino De Laurentiis' Cinematographica, which was obviously a Dino De Laurentiis studio that he'd been using since, and I think it was established in 1946. So around this time, this is 40 years later or thereabouts, and so they've got all this stuff going on in Italy. The problem is the good times were on their way out, but it's a good thing they still got a chance to make this movie because it's a great one. Let's see. There are 4 entries in the Ghoulies series. Ghoulies from 1985, like I said, huge hit for Empire. Ghoulies 2, this one is probably my favorite, mostly because it's just kind of silly fun. Number 3 and number 4, after number 2, after this one came out, Charles Band sold the rights to Vestron Video. And, to kind of help keep the lights on for a little bit because this was a bad time for them. But the thing is so they created number 3, and I can't remember the name of the company who did number 4, but it's weird because in the first one you got the silly, the fun puppets that we're all used to and in the fun times. The first and second one had that. Even the third one had that, even though in the third one they were starting to speak instead of make like little doll and puppet noises like so many of Charles Band's films do. But they actually had dwarfs in Ghoulies costumes in number 4. So that's crazy. And the irony is, out of all of these, because of my age, I saw 4 before I saw any of the other ones. So I kind of saw them not backwards because I didn't see Ghoulies Go to College because it hadn't been released. And I think I saw number 4 on a late night, like HBO or something like that. Anyway, getting too into that stuff, and it does not matter. However, there's a lot to read about this era of Empire International Pictures. It's kind of a sad bummer, but just like always, Charles Band finds a way to dig himself out of it to continue to go, and that's what he did here. So why do we do this? Let's get started with the movie, and let's watch a trailer for Ghoulies 2.
The carnival's back in town with all your old favorites. The Ferris wheel, the Roundup, the octopus, beautiful girls, the spook house, bumper cars, and a special added attraction. It's got Ghoulies too. They walk, they talk, they crawl on their bellies like
reptiles. This place is better than Epcot Center.
Ghoulies too.
Really scary, mister.
Pull up carnival hard before they kill again. $1,000 for any man who brings me one alive.
When you thought it was safe to go back into the bathroom, Ghoulies 2. They'll get you in the end. Again. Ghoulies 2.
All right, you just saw the trailer for Ghoulies 2 from 1987. IMDb has this at a 4.6 right now with about 5,800 votes on it, so that's still not too bad. It's pretty good, especially for a puppet movie, or a movie where it's little puppets that are terrorizing things. And I always, and it's weird because maybe I'll talk about this in a minute, but I've never used to think these were scary or even that great when I was young, because I'm like, why didn't you just kick him? Anyways, I'm sure that I'm not the only person who's ever wondered that, number one. Number two, I obviously love all those movies, because how could I, really enjoy Charles Band's work if I didn't really love the small puppet slash doll types of movies. So there you go. Anyway, so it was directed by Albert Band, who is also, obviously he's Charles Band's dad, Charles and Richard Band's dad, but he was working as production head for Empire Pictures at the same time as well. I think that they were trying to do, Albert and Charles were trying to co-direct this, but I think Charles was out, working on other things too much, and I just think that he didn't leave much time to help his dad with this one, so Albert Band gets the credit. He has a great career in his own right, 35 producer credits, 17 directorial credits, 11 writing credits, and he worked with his son a lot at Empire and at Full Moon as well. This was written by Dennis Paoli, which we talked about The Pit and the Pendulum last week, and so, if you look at that, and I didn't do this on purpose, but Dennis Paoli also wrote that one. Dennis worked a lot with Stuart Gordon and a lot of the Lovecraft stuff that Stuart Gordon did. And great writer, and he is a huge asset for Full Moon and Empire Pictures, obviously. This movie starred Damon Martin as Larry, Royal Dano as Uncle Ned, Phil Fondacaro as Sir Nigel Pennyweight. We had Carrie Rassman as Nicole. In a small role, actually, William Butler makes an appearance as Merle. William Butler, of course, is a huge Charles Band collaborator, even in recent years. He's done Jack Attack, Baby Oopsie, The Resident. He's written all that stuff. So anyways, let's get into the plot. The story begins soon after the events of the first film ended. Somehow, a priest has captured 4 of the nasty ghoulies, and he attempts to destroy them by breaking into a car repair garage and drowning them in an open barrel of toxic waste that's sitting in the middle of the garage. Okie dokie. All the while, this priest is being chased by some nasty Satanists in red cloaks. But meanwhile, as luck would have it, Larry and Uncle Ned, who are the proud owners and operators of Satan's Den, a carnival spook house attraction, are hauling it to a new city in the semi-truck and are actually in need of some truck repair. So they stop at the same garage. Although they find nobody who works there, they seem to find what they need to fix the issue, because it's not long before they're on the road again, except for with a few extra passengers. That's right, the Ghoulies. Though Uncle Ned is a former magician, he is now slave to the bottle and to his melancholy. He's sad because the carnival's parent company is performing audits on all of the attractions of the carnival, and it's been quite a long time since Satan's Den has been profitable. Despite Uncle Ned's level of inebriation, Larry, with the help of Sir Nigel Pennyweight, are able to get the attraction up and ready to go in time for guests. However, unbeknownst to them, the Ghoulies have taken up residence inside the den. Initially, the Ghoulies' antics inside Satan's Den are mistaken for impressive and special effects, drawing crowds to the attraction and boosting the carnival's fortunes. However, the creature's sinister nature soon reveals itself as they unleash a series of grotesque and deadly pranks on carnival goers and workers alike. Larry and a small group of carnies, including his love interest Nicole, discover the true threat lurking within Satan's Den. They must devise a way to stop the Ghoulies before the entire carnival is overrun. In a climactic battle involving fire ingenuity and a runaway carnival ride, the group confronts the pint-sized terrors to save themselves and the carnival. Will Larry, Uncle Ned, and Sir Nigel Pennyweight be successful in saving lives and destroying the Ghoulies? What kind of trouble will these silly Ghoulies have in store for the audience? Can Jay Downing as PJ Harding, the accountant doing the audit, have a more punchable face? Is that even possible? Find out by watching Ghoulies II from 1987. Okay, so let's start off by talking about some of the releases that have come out about this. And I'm sure most of you have seen this. It's 1987. And it's these are so much fun. The first one was great. The first one, though, had more of a dark... Is it weird to say it had a darker tone to it? Well, because they're still these silly little dolls and they're, puppets, and they're being moved around. They're making all these like weird, strange noises and biting people on the ankles, stuff like that. Yes, because it's more about the satanic rites, and the lead guy in that's very intense, and he's got like that look, and he's very serious about this satanic thing that he's got going on. And this one's just more like, oh, by the way, these silly guys got stuck in a carnival attraction, which is great, and don't get me wrong, I love it. It's just, in fact, that's why I picked this one instead of the first one, because this one's just a lot lighter and more fun, and that's kind of the mood I've been in the last couple weeks. Anyway, so releases. MGM released Ghoulies 1 and 2 on a DVD in 2003. Scream Factory did the same on Blu-ray in 2015. Both Ghoulies 1 and 2 are both PG-13, but there is a German release, I guess, that was put out a little while ago, released on something called NSM Records, which I have no idea what that is. But it has the vaunted rated R version. It's only been shown to it was screened to the actors when it was finished, but that's the only place it seems like you can find the rated R version. But anyway, so there's where you're looking, and to pick that one up. But like I said before, I'd like to sit and talk with Charles Band and try to figure out what his passion about, maybe talk to his therapist, but his passion for small monsters. So, I mean, this one it had some sweet, obviously there was puppetry, there was stop motion and some kind of other, I assume, blue screen type of things. And it was really cool looking. The monsters are silly, but they're fun. And so, but there is, and I'm not going to give any spoilers, but there is a ghoulie in here. It was a little disturbing because if you look closely, you can see his nipples are a lot like Sutek's nipples in Puppet Master 4. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know that there is no reason for nipples to be popping that much. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Phil Fondacaro, always amazing. As a dwarf, and he didn't. He just played a straight up carny in this, and he didn't play any of the little people. I wonder if he did play the troll in Troll, but he also played a doctor in that as well. But this one, he was just a British Shakespeare spewing artiste, as he likes to put it in the movie. Obviously, you got to check your brain at the door for this one. It's really fun. If you were to sit there and you were to kind of analyze this movie, say you have a film class, or you have a anthropology class, or some kind of a sociology class, anthropology. Anyway, you can look at this and see some themes if you wanted to. You could look at it. Basically what's going on is you could look at it and just be like, okay, well, this is profit over people, because the guy comes in and he's doing an audit. A nepotism when it comes to rich and stuff like, you look at that. And I'm not saying I agree with it, and I'm not saying that Charles Band meant to do it. I have no idea. But the thing is, when I'm going to sit and watch a movie like this, I feel like that those types of things are just kind of there to push the story along and to make the quote unquote good guys good and the quote unquote bad guys bad. Even though if you think about it, if you're funding a carnival and you're losing money, I'm not trying to side with the punchable face guy, but I'm just saying, okay? So I choose not to kind of look at that. And to be honest with you, though, also with the PJ Harding character, it could have gone a lot darker. He was there. He was the uncaring, quote-unquote, mean capitalist guy, right? But there's a couple of scenes that I thought were going to go a certain way when it came to like a power position, or being in a position of power when talking to one of the female employees at the carnival, but it didn't go that way. He was, I was just like, okay, cool. Wow. Because that would have got a little bit too dark, and I feel like it would have, kind of tipped it a little in the favor of kind of being a little gross. But the guy was already hateable enough, and he had that look, he kind of had that smirk. And how many times do I got to say that he has a punch? I'm sure he's a nice guy, and I'm sure he's a great actor, but this is the only one. There's one part of this, though, that made me die laughing, and I'm not going to say a word about it, but I'm just going to put it in here real quick, and I'm going to let you watch it, and and that's it. So there you go. Obviously, as well, the carnival was a wonderful place. This was all done, like I said, at the Italian studio that Charles Band picked up, and they did such a great job on the inside of that. I personally love like that kind of haunted attraction. I grew up like within 10 minutes walking distance of an amusement park. And basically when we were kids back in the 80s and 90s, we could walk there, get in for free because we were from the same city, and, you know, spend a dollar or two, get tickets. It's like $100 for a day pass now, $120. But you could just do that, spend a dollar, get in. We just go ride on all the same two like spook alley rides that they had. And this was just like that. And I love it. And that really offered a lot to the movie. I think having the Ghoulies be able to blend in a place like that, it was silly, it was fun. I really like this movie. The Ghoulies in this one, the fish ghoulie, the rat ghoulie, the cat ghoulie, the flying ghoulie, the toad ghoulie, and the other ghoulie that had the wild nips, but I'm not going to give it away because it is a very integral part of the plot. Also, it was wonderful to hear Scream Until You Like It by Wasp being played a couple of times in this one. All in all, go check it out. It's from 1987. As usual, that's really all I got. Like I said, I try not to spend too much time. I want these to kind of be quick, but that's already a 15 plus minutes. But anyways, go check out corpsecollective.com. You can see more about this project. Obviously, please subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to the Rumble if that's what you're doing. Make sure to check back to corpsecollective.com. Make sure to check out my other show, Mike Cadaver's Horror Pub Trivia. Make sure to check out my horror podcast. I am a horror guy. You are a horror guy. And so, I don't know, find me on Facebook. All the links are at corpsecollective.com. Anyways, that's all I got for this one, so we'll catch you guys later.